We've been married over 43 years.
And thanks to Jehovah, the majority of that has been in full-time service. We served as missionaries as well as Bethel family members in the foreign field.
Currently, we serve in the substitute circuit work.
Now we have a nice privilege to serve as Bethel remote volunteers. Penny has been very supportive when we have adjustments and assignments and being very adaptable. Sometimes we would get a call that Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon even. She would quickly adjust her schedule, make sure that we had our clothes packed for a week. And she'd even give us snacks on the way so that we had something to eat on the route. She can tell when I'm anxious. She can just look at me and just read me without me saying anything. She knows me, and as a result, she'll look for opportunities to strengthen me. Dealing with HLC, you're dealing with the needs of our brothers and sisters, and it does affect us as HLC members. It affects us personally, emotionally, but Penny was always there. She gives me the added reminder, says, keep praying to Jehovah. And with that reminder, now I can more effectively handle that assignment.
We pray together before we go to bed. When we wake up and we go out the door, even before we leave, we pray. The friends in our congregation, they know, like if we have been on a sub-assignment, our first day back when we're in service, it's our day. Yeah, we do everything together, even shop. At the stores, people know us. If he's not with me, they say, where's your husband? And then dishwashing, he does the dishes no matter how busy he is. When we cook, he comes in and he's my sous chef. And then now he'll even iron his own shirts.
I've gotten better. One of the examples we always look at in the Bible is Aquila and Priscilla, how they always work together. And that was an example that we wanted to imitate from the moment we got married. And with Jehovah's help, we've been able to do our best to just stay united as a team. And so for us, whatever the assignment is, we gain joy in doing it together. Sharing in our spiritual activities has truly strengthened our marriage because it's really drawn us together, serving Jehovah. Now we see that threefold cord that Ecclesiastes talks about. I can't even imagine our whole way of life without Penny.
Aw, they look sweet together. So this is a clip or an interview that gets shown to elders, servants, and maybe their wives. I would guess including wives at the end, towards the end of the 2025 Kingdom Ministry School. And it's actually quite interesting delving into the life of this couple, because there are a few things that maybe you picked up on. First of all, well, we're dealing with a couple who are very active as substitute circuit overseers. So in other words, if a circuit overseer who visits different congregations cannot for any reason visit a certain congregation, maybe he's ill or something, or maybe something comes up in his family, they will have elders on standby who are sufficiently qualified to step in and do the circuit overseer's visit. And so Albert and Penny Jones, they will get sent in to do this job. And so that seems to be the assignment that kind of defines them, or that they're most proud of. But they also refer to Albert being a HLC member. HLC meaning Hospital Liaison Committee. In other words, he is one of the goons that shows up at hospitals at the bedside of a stricken Jehovah's Witness if there is a question of transfusing blood. He's one of the elders that does that, whose job it is to make sure that they martyr themselves in that situation, that they refuse blood, even if it means the Jehovah's Witness dying. He has that job. And it's very interesting that they briefly refer to it taking an emotional toll on him.
Dealing with HLC, you're dealing with the needs of our brothers and sisters, and it does affect us as HLC members. It affects us personally, emotionally.
Well, I'm not surprised it takes an emotional toll on Albert doing that particular job, because just think of the deaths that he has involved himself in, made himself to a degree culpable in, including the deaths of babies, of infants, where blood is an issue. This is the thing. I mean, when you insert yourself in medical decisions to that degree, sooner or later you're going to end up with blood on your hands, especially if you're doing it for years and years and years, which seems to be the case here. And yet the awful irony here is that Albert is clearly not a medical professional. It's not even obvious that he's very well educated. I mean, the guy's only been ironing his own shirts for a relatively brief period of time, and he's waltzing into hospitals, going toe-to-toe with medical professionals who've dedicated their careers to understanding human anatomy. And he's pretending to know at least as much, if not more, than them. And the dude's only just recently started ironing his own shirts. I mean, you couldn't make this up, could you? I actually think they're quite a charming, adorable couple. I'm sure if I met them, I would get on with them, and I would be able to find common ground with them and find them quite charming. But there is just this tragic fact kind of looming in the background that not only as an elder and as a substitute circuit overseer is Albert inevitably going to be involved in judicial instances or judicial cases where he's causing families to get blown apart. He's forcing people to get removed from the congregation and all of the psychological trauma that comes with that. He's knee-deep in all of that. He's probably also had experience with child abuse cases that have been covered up, and he's definitely been involved as a HLC member in Jehovah's Witnesses being urged to martyr themselves.